welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports Live Show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you are having a fantastic Friday. We are, of course, coming to you live here from the Illinois Media School here in the O'Hare campus, and it is a hot one out there, ladies and gentlemen. A hot one for sure, mostly because we've been out there all day. Oh, that's right. You're looking at a couple of one hot stud, and we got another one in the back. It's our boy, Scotty Kiefer, ladies and gentlemen, as well, chilling in the back. Scotty, how you doing, man?
Bro, come on.
What?
Why can't I be a hot stud?
Did I just not give you that prop right now?
Oh, you took it away. You took it away.
I said
you
it's
there's
one
at least
hot
one of us.
stud on camera, and I said I got another one in the back, but you're not paying attention to that because you got your feelings hurt.
I'm too busy running your show,
Yeah,
Andrew.
I know. Exactly, I know. He's busy back there. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a warm one out here, and it's hot up in here as well, ladies and gentlemen, because we got the hottest news to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it is Short Fuse Friday. We're going to give you all the hot news that we got going on with the short stuff. Obviously, we're going to talk about the NBA draft, more importantly, too, of course, the Chicago Bulls and what happened there with their draft picks, not just their one pick. We're going to focus a lot on him for sure, but we're going to talk about both picks in depth. Also, too, as well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to also go into winners and losers of the NBA draft as well. We're going to break that down and kind of give you our insight as far as how the draft went. And then we're going to finish this up with a sport we haven't talked about in a long minute now. UFC, MMA, whatever you wish to call it. We've got a story that's been brewing now for the last week, and it is just continued to get more and more interesting as time continues to go. I mean, I'm very intrigued to see like what comes out next from it. I feel like and it's like, and a dinosaur was involved. I don't know what else could, but only of course, a one and only from the sport could be involved in this kind of situation. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, thank you all so much for joining us here. If you guys want to see us anymore on the stream while we're right now live, you can find us right here on the YouTube side. That is youtube.com/xbombsports, and of course, twitch.tv/xbombsports as well. Find us every Monday and Friday. Mondays at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. Obviously, we didn't go this Monday. And of course, we're here on Friday. We're going a little bit earlier, but it's usually 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time is where you can find us as well. So be on the lookout for that. You can also find us on social media as well, too, at XBomb Sports on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow us on all that stuff. Keep up with our shows and keep up with all the information we're pumping out at many times. We're starting to get out all those little clips and stuff, all the little highlight reels of the shows here and there. So be on the lookout for those. We appreciate you guys for liking, loving, and following them as well. And also, too, follow us on the TikTok as well, at XBomb Sports on there, too. I forgot to put that on there, too. So just want to throw that out there. And, of course, questions or comments, which we always do every single Friday, is kind of the focal point of the questions. You guys can hit us up with xbsportsofficial@gmail.com at any given time. I love listening to you guys and what you guys have to say, questions, comments, things like that, on anything we are talking about, be it this show, Blow the Whistle, even Bad Karma Wrestling, anything of that under the sun. We love hearing from you guys. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. And without further ado, Scotty, are you ready to get into this? And we go. Okay, that good enough, I guess. All right, let's do this, folks. So, obviously, the NBA draft has concluded. We had both rounds happen over the last 2 days, and it is now official. The Bulls have made their picks, I guess. And the question kind of came flooding in from our Chicago fans. No one in specific. It's just like, a lot of them are like, what do you know about this French guy? Like, you were shouting it at me. It's okay. I don't need you yelling at me. It's okay. Sorry if I hurt your ears, Scotty. But, yes, so a lot of people are obviously very intrigued with this one because we kind of talked a lot about what the Bulls could potentially do. A little bit here, a lot more on Blow the Whistle, but it was Derek Queen from Maryland, Thomas Sorber from Georgia, Thomas Sorber from Georgetown, Asa Newell from Georgia. You know, all these different possibilities that were on there. Nope. The Bulls decided with the 12th overall pick, they were going to select Noa Essengue from France, who plays in Germany, which very intriguing, of course, as well, too. Along with that, they selected a young man by the name of Ulbrich, who also comes from Lachlan Ulbrich, I should say. Probably the most Australian we've ever Australianed before on this show, other than like Cameron Bairstow, probably. Just not exactly maybe what we were expecting, but okay. So what do we make of the Bulls pick? Thank you guys all again for the question. We appreciate it, as always, xpsportsofficial@gmail.com. Yeah, look, obviously he was not somebody who was kind of put on the big radar, right? He was somebody who kind of was seen as a little bit maybe more of an outsider, but there were a lot of mock drafts who suddenly started to favor him, and a lot of the speculation about why he was being favored was because of Arturas Karnisovas and his connections overseas, and Mark Eversley has connections overseas, and the idea that they love really being attracted to the European players and the market over there. And essentially what you get from Europe now is some very rare air breed athletes, right? There's a huge collection of them that certainly are all very extremely talented. And Noa Essengue is one of those few guys that kind of came through and really showed his stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people that have expressed how outside of Victor Wembanyama obviously being maybe the best French basketball player out there, he could be possibly a close second, maybe even if anything, you'd put him in the top 5 amongst Frenchmen in the NBA. Talented, absolutely. I mean, the overall body of work that you can see from him watching the highlights is there for this young man. It's just a matter of, well, you see his age, he's 18 years old, you watch his slender frame, you kind of go, he's not big. So you wonder, well, is he a 4 or is he a 5? Like, what are they drafting him for? What is he essentially going to be for the Bulls, right? And I will say this, from what I can gauge on him, it sounds like the experts, if I may say so for quotes, quote-unquote experts, it's very much sounding like the pendulum swings one of two ways. It's either this is going to be a Patrick Williams 2.0 kind of situation from Europe. The other side of it, which is a far much more bolder situation, is this is maybe, and this is a bold take, but maybe another Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay? Now, on the Patrick Williams side of things, it's the fact that he's got a thin frame. He's got to find his way through the NBA, all that kind of good stuff. He's coming in with the same kind of notoriety as Patrick Williams, a young guy who has great defense, offensive skills, things like that can really kind of translate well, it's believed, to the NBA style of playing the game. Now, Patrick Williams, there's a little bit of hope left in me that maybe he gets with the right coach and the right team and the right system and he can actually develop. But at this point for the Bulls, I think it's all but foregone conclusion that it's not gonna happen here. So it's the idea that you're just drafting another guy to kind of replace him, but you're getting the same stuff no matter what. But on the other side of this, it's the idea that, well, Giannis came in with a small frame at 6'9", 206. This guy's coming in at about 6'10", 200 pounds, give or take. Giannis put on the weight within about a year or two and then also grew within a year from 6'9" to 6'11". The idea is maybe this guy can go from 6'10" to 7 feet, can put on about 20, 30 pounds of muscle and, some body fat so he can kind of take the blows. And then right then and there you can say, okay, we move him from power forward now to center, or keep him, I guess, at power forward too. And you've got your kind of big guy that can rebound, play defense inside, and he can also move down the court and score. I've heard somebody say he could possibly be compared to something like Jermaine O'Neal, potentially. Kind of a guy who can take guys off the dribble as a big man, can kind of run down the court, right? Might be maybe a bit of a stretch, but I like that comp nevertheless. But look, for the Bulls' sake, it's a risky pick, sure, in some sort of degree, but where are they going, right? It's a developmental piece. He's the developmental piece for a team that is still kind of in the works, right? Giddey, White, now you've got Buzelis, who's really kind of popped, trying to figure out what you're going to do with Vucevic. Maybe this is the guy to replace him, maybe not. Maybe this is a guy to pair with him. Who knows? He still has to develop a shot because he doesn't really have a three-point shot, a jump shot really at all. But he seems to have the capability to get to the basket, play good defense on the perimeter and the post. I don't know. I'm intrigued with him. I think he also fits the Bulls style of wanting to get out there, running guns, shoot threes. Again, he's not got a three-point shot, but he can run like a deer with the rest of this team that is incredibly fast. So, Scotty, what's your take, man, for the Bulls in this thing? I know we haven't talked about Olbrich here yet, but for Essengue, right off the bat, I mean, what are your thoughts on what you've seen on the Bulls taking him? And I guess if you want to chime in on the Australian kid himself, I know there's maybe not too much to say on him, nevertheless, because he's probably going to the G League, but what do you think?
I think that you hit the nail on the head with him pretty much. To me, he's a high-risk, high-reward player. You could be getting a lot from him. You could also get nothing really out of him. Like I said, it's a high risk to take a guy who needs a lot of development, but this is a guy that makes me think, oh, well, that's another guy to take Patrick Williams' minutes away. I think he would fit more in the NBA now as a four based on just how the NBA is trending and stuff. Mm-hmm. But this is a guy that, doesn't have to perform day one, and I think that's the way they need to take it. They need to let him develop a little bit. He needs to get better. He needs to get bigger. He needs to work on his perimeter shot. All these things could take him time, and he should not be pushed to perform early. And that's the key thing for him, especially having to adjust from playing European style to, NBA style of basketball. It's going to take a little bit. Give him some time. Don't expect him to be, as good as maybe some of these other prospects that get drafted even later than him that will perform on certain teams. You're not going to see an instant impact from him, I don't think. And if you do, it's going to be from the stuff that he already excels at, not a complete game. And I just don't want him to get over pushed and be an incomplete basketball player and then starting every single game for the Bulls. Because yes, do they need a power forward right now? Yes. But this is a guy that you need to develop with. When the Bucks drafted Giannis, they didn't have a power forward, but they still let him develop. They need to do the same thing with him.
No, hit it more on the nail on the head as always, Scotty. It's really just a matter of, like you said, development, allowing him to grow, allowing him to get into his own, feel it out, get into his own skin, if you will, within the NBA. The good news is, good news, bad news, I guess. Good news is he's already flown in to the United States. He's like, I'm ready to come in and get to work, which is bad news, obviously, for his team in Germany, which they just beat Bayern Munich, which, if you don't know, yes, outside of the soccer team, they also have the basketball team. Like many of these big organizations, they have that. So it's unfortunate for his team in Europe. However, they are still a very talented group all the same. So missing him, yes, he's their best player, arguably, for sure. But it's not the biggest loss in the world all the same. But the fact that he's coming already to the United States, he's ready to get to work. He wants to be able to play, start working with a lot of the Bulls players to kind of build chemistry from what he said. And he came in for the draft and everything. He seems like a dude who says, I'm ready to try this and make it work. Again, whether he grows into being a Giannis type of player, I think, is not really the main focal point that needs to be had on him. It's the fact that this is a guy who does fit the system, who can grow, who can work, who seems to want to work, and because of that, there should be at least some optimism, I would say, to look to him to possibly play with the Bulls in some capacity, if only even for limited minutes, just to get him some experience out there playing with this roster. Because if you're viewing him as a potential piece for the future, you want him to be out there as much as he can to make chemistry with Giddey, fellow Australian, mind you, too, right? You've also got, fellow Australian. I don't know why that came to my mind. You've got Giddey out there, obviously. You've got White. You've got, Buzelis, another one as well. All these guys that he can kind of start to feel out how this team is going to work with him being a part of the lineup potentially. I think he'll probably go to the G League for a little while, work himself out, right? And along with him, look, Lachlan Olbrich, from what I understand about this guy, is he's just tough. He's just a tough guy. He's got that tough guy Aussie kind of set. He can get shots off. He can play well inside. He's hard for the rebound. Josh Giddey said he's a very impressive player. Again, that's another fellow Aussie of his. He's very much impressed with it. I kind of hoped that the Bulls would have kept their original pick, which saw the big-time 7'3" center from Australia go, because even though that guy got a lot of bad, reviews in his draft combine and everything, 7'3" shot blocker, rebounder, and the last time they had an Aussie that big in Chicago, things went pretty well, I'm just saying. But I'm not saying this would be Luke Longley 2.0, but this kid looks like he's got a little bit of that, hey, work him in the G League for about a year or two. Maybe he gets himself in there. He can be your, give him some dump minutes real fast and kind of be that grudge guy coming off the bench that can be your enforcer, be your muscle, if you will. Scotty, you got anything for the Australian kid, Lachlan?
Literally all I saw from him was, is he a great perimeter shooter? No.
No.
Is he an elite rim protector? No.
No.
Is he decent at defending on the wing? Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
But the kid's got heart. Kid's got hard work. And that's, honestly, if that's the way the Bulls want to go, that's a good start.
Absolutely. And listen, hey, let's not forget. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be either one of these guys, but Draymond, second round. Jokic, second round. There's no reason to say that this kid, if you can't work him, and by the way, he does work. He works out hard. There's no reason to say that maybe he can't be somebody for you. I'm not saying, again, on that level. But second-round picks are now becoming some of the norms that are starting to emerge as players. Also, let's not forget Jalen Brunson as well, too. Three of the top, three incredible players. Two of them are going to be Hall of Famers. And if Brunson keeps going the way he's going, he'll probably be a Hall of Famer, too. As second-round picks, you don't find that often. So thank you guys for the question. We appreciate it. Obviously, let us know. What do you think about Noa Essengue? What do you think about even Lachlan Olbrich? Do you think these guys are going to fit in with the Bulls? How do you see this team going out? Are they just going to win 42 games and get into the play-in tournament again? Or is this a team that actually might be able to get out and run and do some work? Are they going to lose more games and possibly get another top pick? We want to know from you guys. You know what? As somebody who's kind of clinging on to the Bulls here, God, if you can get another top pick, that would be great. But let us know in the comments section down below. And, of course, at the email as well, too, xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. I was due for one. I was due for one screw-up on that, sure. xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. Okay, let's move into our next question because this one came in a lot of waves and droves as well from a lot of individuals, too. And it was basically, what's the final verdict on you think about the outcome of the 2025 NBA draft? Basically, kind of was a very general statement coming from anybody. I just decided, let's just do the simplest stuff, right? Let's just pick kind of what we deem to be the winners and losers of the NBA draft, which I know you could bend the story any which way you want about, well, who won and who lost, all that kind of stuff. This is just my opinion. Those are Scotty's opinions. You want to come after us, by all means. Well, if you want to come after me, by all means. Scotty, I don't know about you, but come at me, yo. Like, you guys know
Scotty
me.
KO3 on Twitter.
There you go. See, Scotty's throwing down the gauntlet. He's throwing down the gauntlet.
Andrew, I'm not trying to hijack your show or anything,
Yeah.
but the Ace Bailey situation's getting worse.
Oh, really? Is it?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
So you want to
which,
do a quick so I'll tell you what went
give me
down.
the update on this because I think I might have read. Well, you kind of gave me a little bit on it. Please.
Idea. You want to give a quick idea on what's going on with Ace Bailey, what you know already?
Yes.
Kind of give a little introduction.
So if you guys are unaware, I did a You're Killing Me Smalls on Blow the Whistle if you guys didn't see it. Ace Bailey, top prospect in the country, went to Rutgers with Dylan Harper, top prospect in the country. Underwhelming season for the team, but overwhelmingly amazing season for him as a player. Did not work out for multiple teams. That kind of deterred a lot of teams from wanting him. Obviously, he didn't want to work out for the 76ers for some odd reason. He didn't even want to go near Utah, apparently. Still ends up getting drafted 5th overall by the Utah Jazz. And from what we have now understood, according to what Scotty's was able to show me, apparently he's not even on the plane to go over to Salt Lake City to meet with the team. So that is the latest update that apparently Mr. I didn't know they were interested is now apparently kind of like pouting at home, I guess. But please, Scotty, what is the update on Mr. Ace Bailey?
So yeah,
apologies.
like you said, didn't work out with anyone.
No.
Told everyone in the top 5 to not pick him.
Which is just so weird.
Like I told you earlier, did not fly with the team. Walter Clayton is flying. He's not joining them. Shout out Walter Clayton.
So already off to a good start with your.
But the Jazz are not bending. The Jazz are willing to wait it out as long as possible until Ace Bailey realizes that this is his only NBA team. The Utah Jazz are hoping that he will make his decision by Monday to join the team, but they are willing to wait it out.
Props, kudos to you, Danny Ainge. Way to not budge at all. Listen, kid, you have an opportunity to be the star at a franchise that has not seen the light of day success in years. You could be that player. You could be that guy, but you're letting your own bravada and, dare I say, and I've been screwing up his name, Omar Cooper, his agent, who happens, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Scotty, it's his AAU coach that is his agent. Shocker. So who would have thought, right? Some guy who has, I will say this, probably has basketball connections. Is he really the best choice to be your agent? I'm just saying perhaps he's feeding you some bad advice. And here's the thing. I don't know if this is like Ace Bailey saying this stuff personally or if this is Owen Cooper feeding him the information on, you don't want to go to Philly. You don't want to go to Utah. Why don't you want to go to Philly? Why wouldn't you want to go to the Spurs? He fits perfectly there. Like, if anything, nothing against Dylan Harper. I thought Ace Bailey going to San Antonio would be a great fit for him because then you've got an actual wing, a three, to complement Wemby as a shooter, 3-level scorer, and De'Aaron Fox. I thought, that's the perfect number 2 pick.
But not even that. Do you know how many teams would love a player like Ace Bailey,
Absolutely.
too? And what he brings to the team?
He's been compared to Kevin Durant at his best, for crying out loud. What are you doing? You wanted to go. That's the crazy thing. The teams he wanted to go to were some of the worst teams last year. Washington isn't even an NBA team. If this were soccer, they should be relegated for a G League team. 5 years ago. I don't understand that at all. I don't. So that was a highlight of the draft.
I'm going to say Utah's a winner just because they're standing on business. They're not letting them
absolutely.
walk all over them.
Yes.
But Bailey is a loser in this draft.
Yes. In this case, Utah has 2 players. I don't know what Walter Clayton can be at his finest, but he is a veteran distributor that can shoot and score and create his own shot from the point guard spot, something they need. He adds value to them right off the get-go and can start right away for them. Whether he's going to be an electrical star, I don't know. But Ace Bailey, that could be your go-to guy. For some reason, though, he's pitching a fit because that's not where he wants to be. Well, tough nuggets, dude. This is your chance. And I agree with you. He's losing because now, you're going to sit out the season and play in Europe? This is the same thing I didn't go on a rant about it, but Shamar Stewart, the whole thing about him sitting out for the Cincinnati Bengals, frustrating as ever to watch that happen. But that dude's talking about possibly going back into the draft. Homie, you only were good because you had such a great combine performance. What happens when you go back into the draft and you've sat out a year?
And that's the different situation with him. Bailey can go play in Europe.
Exactly.
Bailey could go play in Puerto Rico, Australia, anywhere.
Yes.
Stewart can't. So you're just going to sit there for a year and hope to be drafted in the first round again.
Exactly. But you don't know if you're going to – for Bailey, yes, you can go in the first round again.
But that's the same thing with Bailey.
Right.
Bailey could go to Europe and then they're a year later just be like, yeah, but look at what happened last year.
Right.
Didn't want to get drafted by anyone. And then he went to Europe again. I don't want that to happen for me. He could have the same situation happen to him, but at least he played this year.
Yeah.
It's a terrible situation.
Absolutely. And, by the way, for both Shamar Stewart and Ace Bailey, hey, do you know who the small forwards are coming out the next year? There's some pretty good ones. So you better be able to keep that same energy you had from this past season, because this might be maybe the best that you've got to show off to them. I'm not saying he can't dominate Europe. I'm not saying that at all. But it's a different game over there where you can be at your best. Once you get to the NBA, are you sure you've done enough? Brandon Jennings went over there and played decent here in the NBA, but he never took off the way he should have.
Jimmer, bro.
Jimmer's another one. How many more? I mean, there's a ton of these guys that have decided, well, I'm going to go play a year over in Europe, and then I'm going to come out here. Okay. All right. If you want to try your shot, go for it. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you get buried in the roster. I agree with you, Scotty. Very well noted. Yes. For Ace Bailey, Lehu Zahir. But for Utah, props on, and this is Danny Ainge. All right, he's been in the league for how many years? He's been doing this for how long? He's a former player. He's not backing down from nothing. Because what's he going to say? Oh, we're already bad? What are we going to do? Not doing nothing with him. Unless you get the haul of a lifetime, you're not letting him go. You're not doing it.
You want to give out another winner before I give out a loser?
Sure.
You want to go give out another winner before I give a loser?
Absolutely. For me, look, winners of the draft, I thought the Spurs did fantastic, right? Dylan Harper, probably easiest number 1B pick in this draft. Offensively, defensively, he's so talented. The fact they got Carter Bryant with their other first-round pick is amazing to me. That impressed me. That gives you a guy who can sit behind Jeremy Sochan, possibly fit into that other wing position as a 4 or even the 3, that can work himself into being an outside-inside scorer, get a rebounding, play a little bit of more defense, perimeter post. They, I think, did fantastic within the draft as far as being winners. I like what they did. I was impressed by that. I give them a lot of props. And look, obviously, I knew at the number 2 pick we all knew what they were doing. We all knew what they were doing. So I give them the biggest winners of this draft. A loser for me? Pelicans. I like the Derek Queen pick. Obviously, it would have been cool to see him with the Bulls, sure. It's a good pick. You gave up an unprotected first-round pick, though, for it.
And you're going to be bad.
That's the thing. I like Jeremiah Fears. I like Derek Queen. I don't know how they're going to fit, though, in this lineup, though, right off the get-go. Are they both going to be 6th men or 7th men coming off the bench? Do you think they're going to start right away? You're really banking on these two to kind of be the thing that's we're going to win 50 games. Really? Are you sure? It just does. Oh, man. That's a rough one for me. That's a rough one.
Especially when you're going to be bad next year.
Yeah, exactly.
And you give up an unprotected first-round pick. Crazy.
I understand the Orlando Magic giving up 4 unprotected first-round picks and a pick swap for Desmond Bane, which I know we didn't talk about, and people were like, what the hell happened there, and why couldn't they get this thing done with Luka and that kind of level? Trust me, I get you. I understand that. But I understand the Desmond Bane trade more with Orlando than I do this one. This just seemed idiotic to me. I didn't get this at all. I don't know what New Orleans is thinking here. This is Joe Dumars' first year as the GM, if I'm not mistaken. Brand new to this. This is the move that he makes. Fears, good pick. Queen, good pick. Trading up an unprotected first to get him, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's a risky move. You better win 45, 50 games. You better be playoff bound, because you have to make this actually work. So that I have a few more, but Scotty, for you,
I don't really have a lot of winners this year. I mean, they kind of just filled out their spots. A lot of teams filled out their spots as well.
Yeah.
But the big thing for me was loser-wise, I think the NBA lost.
Okay.
And here's why. It's apparent to me that this year, more than ever, they should have never moved it to being 2 days. It is very stupid that this is a 2-day thing.
Yes.
I understand they went for the NFL appeal where they have the 3 days, but there's nothing bigger than the NFL in America. You know, it deserves to have the 3 days. And even the third day, it all drops off.
Right.
Right? But the NBA second round, you're drafting a lot of players literally no one knows about. You're drafting a lot of European stash players, and no one's going to watch. Like, they're not even going to be on a lot of the players are not even going to be on the team next year.
Yeah.
They might not even be, they're going to be stuck in the G League, or like I said, they're going to be European players, right?
Right.
So why is it 2 days? That's a problem. Second, I can't believe that we're in the year 2025 and we still have players given the wrong hats that they're not even going to be a part of their team anymore.
Yeah.
And they still have to put on their other team's hat when they get up there. This is the biggest moment of their life. They're getting drafted. You know what the NFL does? Hey, Green Bay just traded their pick to the Eagles, and the Eagles select. Now, there might be a trade between the Magic and the Thunder.
Right.
But this is the Thunder's pick.
Right.
And the Thunder are going to select this guy. Oh, wait, never mind. He just got traded to the Magic.
Yeah.
That's not how to do it. It's kind of ruining their moment.
Yeah.
It's annoying to see because, hey, guess what? Luka Doncic, Atlanta Hawk legend. Trae Young, Dallas Maverick legend.
I mean, that is like one of the most iconic pictures now out there is those two with the hats on, knowing that they were going to get swapped because the trade had already happened, but they had to put the hats on for their teams before the trade could officially go through for their rights. No, I agree with you. The 2-day situation is ridiculous. You don't need that at all. Nothing against the second round pick guys, but like you said, and like a lot of people I've already heard said, you don't know a lot of these guys. You don't know any of them. And if you do, it's probably because they either played for your team or you're that avid of a college basketball follower or you're a family member who's watching your friend or family member get picked, probably, more than anything, right? So and on top of that, too, like you said, the fact that we've got to wait to trade, okay, who's he going to? Which team is it now? Who's got the pick? Just give him the hat of the team that he's going to. So even ESPN is like, hey, here's all the teams picking at this point. Oh, by the way, we have to put it's going to Miami or to Sacramento because, you just put the team's logo there and just let us know. And so I'm not looking at it going, it's Miami's pick. No, actually, it's Memphis's pick. No, it's going to Portland.
What's the difference between, let's hypothetically, Bulls get the 5th overall pick, but they traded it to the Spurs.
Sure.
But walking into draft day, because it was a trade that happened a couple months ago,
right,
the Spurs have the number 5 overall pick. There's
Correct.
No difference there. It's not the Bulls pick.
Right.
But for some reason, the day of the draft, when the Boston Celtics trade the 29th overall pick to the Suns, it's still the Boston Celtics pick.
I don't understand that at all. I don't understand those ownership rights. I understand the idea of we're trading the rights of the draft rights of the player. I get that stuff. But when a trade's already happened that day and yet they still have to put the hat on of the player, it is very confusing for fans. I'm sure it's very confusing for those kids. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for everybody. My only thinking is, do you not have enough people in the graphics department? Because we've got people here if you need them for the graphics department. It's really that simple, just popping in the logo.
It's different with, like, Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers. They just, hey, they got drafted by he got drafted by the Chargers.
Exactly.
Got drafted by the Giants. Then they traded a little later.
Exactly.
It's a little different. But when they make the trade prior to the pick, the day of, it should just be their team.
Yeah.
If the Suns trade up to the 11th pick, it shouldn't be the Grizzlies pick. It should be the Suns pick.
Yes.
That's not a crazy concept because ESPN literally does it and the NBA and the NFL does it. It's not a crazy concept.
No.
Every other sport, except for baseball because you can't trade draft picks.
Right.
Every other sport does it.
which I don't get, but yes.
It makes a little bit more sense because they have like 18 rounds. So
yeah, I know. It's just still I don't. Well, whatever. No, look, some other quick winners and losers. Just for the sake of it, did Dallas win? They got the best player in the draft, sure. Where they lost, though, is Nico Harrison's comments after getting Cooper flag of fortune favors the bold. Nico, stop talking. It was not bold of you to trade Luka Doncic, a proven all-star, top 5, best scorer in the league player, and now you're trying to make this call as though Cooper Flag is going to save the franchise. That's what this sounds like. Stop talking. Because we don't know what Cooper Flag's going to be. Could he be a LeBron James type of player? Possibly. But he's an 18-year-old kid coming from Duke who just had a very spectacular season, yes, but we don't know if he is going to be capable of carrying a franchise. Which, by the way, that dynamic in Dallas right now, where you've got 2 stars who have championships to their name, and they're going to take a backseat to Cooper Flag. See how that works out. So Dallas wins by getting a great player, a good player, I should say. Sure. But overall, it feels like a loss because Nico Harrison had to make such a very not so subtle comment that now comes back on him, in my opinion at least, of, I got rid of one guy, I'm going to have another here. Oh, you better hope Cooper Flag is Luka Doncic 2.0, if not even better. Because if that doesn't work out, guess who's getting canned? It isn't going to be Jason Kidd. Going to be you. You're the one on the hot seat as far as I think everyone's concerned, including against ownership. They've made that pretty clear. You've risked a lot here on this. Now you got to go prove it. But yeah, look, other ones out there. I thought Washington actually did a pretty good job in the draft. Trey Johnson and Will Riley, not a bad get for those two teams. Con Newpo going to Charlotte and Yang Hansen going to Portland are the 2 question marks I throw out there. Because Con Newpo's a heck of a shooter. But I don't know how he's going to fit in with that Charlotte team because they're just bad. Brandon Miller's a good player. And LaMelo Ball, still a solid player when he's healthy. But they're bad. They're just badly run. And as far as Yang Hansen goes, I watched his highlight tape. He's got skill. He's got game. Dude can ball. I just don't know if that's really what Portland needed. 7'1", big man, 250 pounds. He can move down the court, dunk it, rebounds, block shots. He can do all of it. It's just so hard for me to sink my teeth into yes, that's what Portland needs. Yang Hansen. Maybe it's just because it doesn't pop. I don't know. He's not a name that really kind of comes off. He wasn't even in the green screen. He was sitting in the crowd with the fans. And props to him too. He enjoyed his moment.
I don't know. That happens a lot for drafted players.
Yeah, it does.
For the NHL, they're basically all sitting in the crowd.
That's
too,
true.
So,
yes.
I don't really buy into that. That's not that big of a deal.
It's obviously an oddity when you're seeing this 7'1" dude kind of just hi everybody, I'm here, yeah, up here, yeah, this is where the camera's at.
I thought you were sitting down. Why are you standing up? Aren't you sitting down in the chairs there? I was sitting down.
Yeah, I was.
He's
yes.
that tall.
Yeah. It's a big. Listen, if he's anywhere near the numbers that you've seen from guys like Yao Ming, if you will, another Chinese player, or even doing what Jakob Poeltl or any of these guys have done, Ivaka Subak, if he can be on that kind of level, it's a good pick.
Imagine sitting behind them in the seats.
Oh God!
Adam Silver walks up there.
Boy, this is a really tall.
I can't see.
Yeah.
There's a tree in the way.
This guy's really tall and he's dressed nicely, and then all of a sudden he stands up as they announce his name and you go, Oh, player, got it. Okay, yes. I just thought tall fan.
And then you're sitting there just like, yes, now I can see.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Now I can see
Excuse
the
me, sir.
stage.
Can you spread your legs real quick so I can just thank you? Yeah. Look,
Pause.
at the end of the day, yes. At the end of the day, I mean, and I'll say this too. For Brooklyn's sake, they're another question mark. 5 first-round picks, never been done in the NBA before. 4 guards and a big man in Danny Wolf, who's kind of a reach. I'm guessing Nick Claxton might be gone too, which is kind of. I mean, you could keep him, but there's so much interest in him and draft picks you can get back for him. They're rebuilding, obviously. This draft just kind of came off as like,
They've been rebuilding since 2012.
Yeah, well, yeah, since they came to life as the Brooklyn Nets, essentially.
Hello, Brooklyn. We're still rebuilding.
Yeah.
I remember that when they moved. I got like a Hello Brooklyn shirt.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes,
when they came to the Brooklyn
Yes,
Nets.
when Jay-Z was like, yeah, we're here, baby, Brooklyn. Yeah, well, Brooklyn is still trying to become a team. I don't know. It's so tough because it's a lot of draft picks. It just feels like they're kind of doing the quantity over quality thing in my book, essentially. So yeah, you got 5 picks. 2 out of 5, I have to assume, are going to be good enough to be on the roster. One of them has to at least be able to be good enough to be a starter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, take a handful of darts and just chuck them and just see what happens. But overall for the draft, I mean, it was what it was. Like you said, Scotty, the 2-night thing, just nobody paid attention to night 2. Nobody cared.
NHL drafts tonight. That's where the stories are happening.
That is going to be interesting. If you're a Blackhawks fan, you're going to be watching for that.
If you're an Islanders fan, they just traded away their defenseman and got more draft capital, so
Yes,
maybe
they
they're
did.
trying to trade up so they can pick up their kid from New York. I mean,
Yes. And unfortunately,
they could trade back up because they got
could.
the number 1 pick. They could try to trade back up.
oh God, yeah. And obviously too, some NHL news out there too. Tavares is now apparently assigning an extension from what we saw. For whatever reason, yeah, exactly. For whatever reason,
It's because he slept in Toronto pajamas. Look at his bed sheets.
He believes.
They had Toronto Maple Leafs on them.
he has hope. He has hope. Yeah, Toronto's
While
been
Marner's going to walk to Chicago.
Toronto's been living on hope for years now at this point. I mean, for God's sakes, let hope die for a little bit. Start over and rebuild, for God's sakes. Give somebody else a chance. All right, thank you guys so much for the questions on this. We appreciate it. Again, send us your questions and comments. We want to hear from you guys. Comment section down below. Let us know. Obviously, xpsportsofficial@gmail.com as well, too. Final one we're going to talk about. We've kind of already been talking about this all day today. So I'm sure if you're out there, you guys know that we have kind of every once in a while talked about sports outside of the main 4. And one of them that we, in the very early stages, were kind of discussing was UFC. Because we had some UFC guys on their show who were, kind of in the discussion on it. Well, I got a handful of questions coming out here, and I'll single out the one who sent this. Her name's Renee, who basically was like, after Jon Jones retires now from the UFC, what is his legacy in the history of UFC/MMA, mixed martial arts? And combat sports as well, she put in there too. But I'm just going to keep everything within the UFC, MMA aura, if you will, because that's his sport. And it did make me think, like, well, I've watched Jon Jones for a long time. I followed his career for years. I've always been very impressed with him. And I'll start off by saying this. I don't think I've ever seen somebody as big as he is, as athletic as he is, and be as dominant in a division as he has been within UFC. He was a force to be reckoned with at the right time, too, because at that point when he was becoming a star in the sport is when the UFC was really starting to make its mark, going from a 10 million to 100 million and then eventually going into that billion-dollar range as a company, right? He rode that wave and had an absolute amazing ride. What was it again, Scotty? Remind me. Was it 18 title defenses? The longest reigning. Is it still the longest reigning title defense? I thought I couldn't. I don't have those stats sitting in front of me, especially, but the longest reigning title defense in the history of the UFC, to my knowledge, at least. It's just absolute, complete, taking out top opponents, doing. I mean, just so much about his career was like, wow. This is one of your big names in the game. You put him on a main event card, he is the draw. People wanted to watch him fight. People wanted to watch him be there. He was antagonistic. He helped build up promos. I still remember him and Daniel Cormier and that whole situation. That was beautiful to watch. They almost killed each other at a presser. I'll never forget going head to head with each other. They almost knocked the hell out of each other at their square up. So everything about Jon Jones as far as a fighter, and I said this in the email to her and everybody that's asked this, I said Jon Jones, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is going to go down as one of the greatest and yet most complicated and complex fighters in UFC MMA history. Because on top of everything that he has accomplished in his career, he's been to the mountaintop, he's done it all, he's been at the top of the game. His career has just constantly been marred in his own way, personally getting in his own way by, be it hit and runs, multiples of them now, failing drug tests for PEDs, domestic violence. I mean, you name it, it seems like he's been a part of it. Just one thing after the next with this guy, constantly seeming to get in the way of his career being successful. On top of that, too, then going and saying, I'm going to go to heavyweight, just in his career-wise, and not really doing anything as a heavyweight champion, being given the belt, not really even earning it, just given the belt, and then proceeding to be like, I'm not fighting him, I'm not fighting him, I'm not fighting him, I'm not fighting him. Stipe, you want to come out of retirement? I'll fight you. We can make some money. Stipe, come on, buddy. Come on. Okay, I'm not fighting you, I'm not fighting you, I'm not fighting you. Okay, I'm done. It's just, it's a career that when you look at him as an athlete, it's like, wow. But when you look at it as the whole, which I think when it comes to athletes, in some regard, you have to. Because what he's done with his life outside of the octagon has ultimately impacted his career as well. And that's part of the problem with him. As much as I want to sit here and say, unequivocally, he's one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, and I think that's true. But it also comes with a but. He is also a person that has really kind of self-destructed whatever kind of great legendary legacy he had that is going to leave us all kind of going, gee, I don't know. In the same way, I kind of view it as almost Antonio Brown, right? You look, we talked about this last week, I think it was. I think you said it, Scotty. Is Antonio Brown a Hall of Famer? And I said, by the numbers, he is. But when you add the entirety of who he is as a person, you go, oh, man. After this latest situation with him, now having a judge sign an order saying he's going to be arrested for attempted murder, and now he's fled the country, and now he's filed for bankruptcy. Well, yeah,
that was old news.
That's old news, but
CTE, ESPN reported that like 9 months ago.
Yeah, I know. It's just I just saw it pop up and everything. So I mean, just adding on to the whole situation with him post play, right? Because you look at it, Super Bowl ring, all Pro Bowls, All Pro, yards, touchdowns, receptions, it's all there. But when you add on every situation he's been in, all the little things, it adds up. And it makes guys go, yeah, we could put him in the Hall of Fame, but we're not going to.
I'm someone that is a big advocate of separating the art from the artist and separate the athlete from the person.
Sure.
The problem with Jon Jones...
I will do that too as well from time to time.
The problem with Jon Jones is that his person has directly affected his athletic career, and not only that, has hurt the company that he works for.
That is true.
Jon Jones comes in. I've watched UFC since I was a little kid. There is never anyone as big as Jon Jones that could stand and fight with someone and grapple someone at his height and how big he is. There's never been anyone like that.
Yeah.
Youngest UFC champion, longest defenses. I mean, great numbers. 2 division champion. There's only a handful of people that have ever done that. And longevity. Guy was a champion in 2012. And technically it's 2025 and he was still a champion.
Right.
I mean, there's really going to be... I don't think there's going to be anyone like Jon Jones to ever come into the UFC and have that kind of power, longevity ever. But he ruined events. People forget they had to move an event from Las Vegas because they looked at his test scores and said that he was not going to pass by the Las Vegas Athletic Commission, but he could get by in California. So they moved it to the Forum on 1 week's notice and completely ruined the event. People forget that the great trilogy you talked about with DC ruined because he failed the drug test.
Yep. Thanks
Great
for that.
light heavyweight champion. I get it. It's up to the judges, but everyone knows that Dominic Reyes won that fight.
Yeah,
And he paraded it like he beat him after he ducked him. And that's what I'm getting into next. He ducked Dominic Reyes for the longest time because that was the one guy they thought could actually give it to him. He ducked him for the longest time. Wouldn't fight him. Finally did, and a lot of people says that he lost.
Yeah.
Ducked Francis Ngannou. Did not want to move up to heavyweight because Francis Ngannou was up there. That was the one fight everyone wanted. He waited for Ngannou to leave. And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to move up to heavyweight, and I'm going to fight Cyril Gane, who doesn't know anything about grappling.
Right.
And then I'll grapple him and win.
Yeah.
Hey, I got injured. I tore my pec. That's completely fair. It happens in training all the time. Injuries happen all the time.
Yeah.
But to be out from 2023 with an interim champion and never get a fight scheduled against the interim champion, Tom Aspinall being the first person to ever defend an interim championship belt, and you still never fought him because Tom Aspinall was like you were with DC, the young guy who's coming in, who's way athletically gifted, is submitting everyone and putting out everyone, just like you were to DC back in the day, and you didn't give him the chance when DC gave you the chance. It's terrible to look at. I don't care if it's picograms of PEDs. I don't care if it's ducking opponents. He completely tarnished his own legacy by himself. And like I said, ruined the company he worked for. Dana White has had to go for the last 3 years defending this guy.
Yeah.
When he maybe didn't turn on him, but he has to overshadow him so much.
You can't baby him, and that's what I've always felt that Dana White has done is, and listen, on the business side of perspective, as much as I'm playing devil's advocate on it, I get it from Dana's side. He's a cash cow. You're trying to protect his legacy. You're trying to protect his name so the company can continue to make money. But you are giving him an out that he does not deserve and are causing more damage by ruining your reputation and setting an example for other guys to potentially go, oh, hey, he can get away with it. Maybe I can get away with it too.
And not only that, he's actively ruining other fighters as well.
Exactly.
Tom, you could tell Dana White hated that he had to promote Tom Aspinall
absolutely.
when he retired. You could see it on his face that he had to give the belt to Tom Aspinall. He absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
Never, I understand it's the Dagestan thing, never wants to promote Islam Makhachev,
Right.
even though he's the #1 guy in the UFC. Nope, it's Jon Jones. Not going to do that with Marab either. Not going to do that with Ilya. Hey, Alex Pereira, I know you just lost your fight and you should probably get a rematch, but man, hey, Jon Jones is out there. That'd be a great fight. You could see he hated giving the belt to Ankalaev because if he gave it to Pereira, he would have gotten the Jon Jones fight with Pereira.
Yeah. No.
He absolutely hated everyone if they went against his plan of putting Jon Jones in the top of it, which, like you said, completely get it money-wise, but you ruin the sport with it. You ruin the rest of the company with it.
And we talked about this with the NBA, right? Not to go back to it, but like with the NBA. We love LeBron and Steph and KD and for what they've done for the game of basketball and the NBA, and they're wonderful. They're great. But at some point, you do need to start promoting other guys to the helm and saying, hey, these guys are stars too. Hanging on to the same stars over and over and over and over and over again, people get tired of it. People notice that and they go, wait a minute, why are we still talking about this guy who I believe what you have said was 38 years old now? Why are we still hanging on to a career that clearly was coming to its end already as it was? And the fact that this was just mentioned very quickly as a post-fight conference, like, yeah, he called me this morning.
No big announcement, no big retirement package, just... Oh, yeah, by the way, Jon Jones called me last night and said he retired.
Yeah, and Aspinall, by the way, is the new heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And that's it. If you watch the video, you can hear an audible gasp and awe go through the reporters going, what?
And no offense, but it was in Baku. I mean, like, come on.
I mean, yes.
Come on.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just... And for
he was
a guy,
in the middle of nowhere making this announcement. It wasn't like, guys, I got to make an announcement like he does for his fight cards on Tuesday nights, where it's like, big announcement coming on later tonight about the upcoming cards. It wasn't nothing of that. It was in the middle of a press conference that no one watches anyways.
Right. And, well, Ariel,
everyone asks him the same. Everyone asks him the same stupid questions.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and Ariel Helwani was the one that said, like, why not announce it in Vegas? Right, like that's the moment where you can give like fans like their little like John like.
I think a lot of that had to do with the news situation with it. I mean, I don't know if you really want to get into it.
Yes,
like I think that has something to do with it.
No, 100%. I think
because imagine if what came out last night.
Yeah.
And they were going to do a massive thing on Saturday for him.
Absolutely. Well, listen.
Not a great look.
Dana White has connections. You can't tell me he did not know. Like, oh, by the way, the video's out there from the cops, and he probably went, shoot.
I can't. Yeah, and then
I have to just skim by this because more than likely there will be a little bit of a whirlwind. But again, it's Dana White. Like he's always found a way to stay. He's the one guy who I will say when the hurricane of stuff is blowing by, he seems to be one of those dudes that has Teflon all over him, and it's like I'm staying pretty clean. It's hitting me, but I'm still A-okay. Well, money and power certainly do those things to you. Don't get me wrong. And connections, too. The guy's pretty well connected. Although...
yeah. And then I'll say one last thing just because they're moving on to Tom Aspinall as the new heavyweight champ.
Yes.
I've watched Tom Aspinall's whole career. He's one of my favorite fighters.
He's fantastic.
I mean, he's incredible.
Absolutely.
I think he's great for the people in the UK. I think, he's a great role model, just cares about fighting and putting on good fights and doesn't get involved with anything outside. He's a likable guy.
Right.
I think Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall is probably the first fight I've had in my lifetime that I wish I got. I know there's a lot of them back. Like, I wish we got these fights back in the day. How did we not get these fights?
Yeah.
I think this is the first one for me where I'm going to look back and be like, that's the one fight I wish I got. Because I loved Jon Jones for a long time. He was so good. And then Tom Aspinall came up, and that was one of my guys that I really liked. And this was a fight I was really pushing to get because I wanted Tom to get up there. And I want to also say one more thing about what you said. Mm-hmm. This is a guy getting older. This guy took off the fire pole, Stipe Miocic.
Yeah.
To a 4th round.
Yeah.
That's tough. You took a guy coming not barely training. He had a full fight camp.
Yeah.
But his fight camp was also going to fight fires as a volunteer firefighter.
Right. It wasn't exactly a crew.
You took him to the 4th round. And Jon Jones looked big for heavyweight.
Yeah.
He looked overweight. And the whole state of the heavyweight division is terrible. But
I was going to say, it's not looking pretty. So.
I mean, Jon Jones was getting up there. I mean, he did not look as fast as he used to be. I mean, it was tough.
Oh, clearly the adjustment had made it took a toll on him, if you will.
Yeah.
I remember watching that being like, wow, this is what we all asked for, huh? This is what we get.
This is what no one asked for. Everyone wanted Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, I'm getting it. Like, and listen, I respect Stipe, but dude, you're like 2 years past due. Don't come back. Just retire, be happy, live your life, do your firefighter thing, man. Be on Tacoma FD, whatever you want to do, man. Don't worry about.
If Jon Jones retired after fighting Stipe, I think his legacy would stay intact.
Yes.
To a massive degree. There would still be
better
this
degree.
like little niche fan base.
Yes.
I was like, he's not as good. But everything after that, I think, has completely ruined his legacy.
You could have had a big retirement party in Vegas.
Yes.
Hey, guys, Jon Jones officially retiring. Let's bring him out. Oh, the fans cheer. Jon Jones, we love you. Thank you so much for what you've done.
He's going to retire to MSG, the best arena in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he is a guy with his legacy that should have had that big moment. But unfortunately, because of all these little things that have happened that have become big situations in his life and his career, it marred, especially with this new one now coming up, which just looks terrible for him in every single way.
Looks awful.
Dana had no choice but to go, this is what happened. He's retired. Tom's the champ. And quite frankly, I listened to Helwani on his show, and he said it. Aspinall beating Pavlovich, that should have been the champion. He should have been heavyweight champion.
Yep.
Because then you get 2 years of him on top as heavyweight champion, and you don't get 2 years of, what happened to the heavyweight champion? Like, that stays alive then, because it was dead, basically. As long as Jon Jones was out.
There is no heavyweight division.
Yeah, it's dead. Like you said, the division is already in tatters as it is. You get Aspinall as champion for 2 years, that division might look a little bit different. That championship belt is held up to a high level then, right there. I mean, like you said, too, like with Ngannou. Like, you had Ngannou there, and that was when I was like, wow, the heavyweight title. Like, I took notice of it finally. It took a while for me to be like, oh, yeah, that's right, they got a heavyweight division. Like, you forget because you're focusing on all these other ones. But these guys took it, and Jon Jones just getting the title and then not doing really anything with it at all.
Granted, he did get injured in that time.
Yes, of course. But
he got injured prepping for a retired Stipe.
Exactly. And that's the problem, is that you were fighting a guy past his prime when you got hurt. So that doesn't, I'm sorry, no boo-hoos for me, nobody. It doesn't mean anything. So for me, if Aspinall had beat Pavlovich and said, here is your undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, by now, who knows where he's at and who knows where UFC's at. Because this year has kind of been, for me at least, it's been a little bit of a slog to find some really good fights. There have been ones there. Don't get me wrong. There have been ones. It's just been like, okay, we got to go through a little bit of like a slow period before we get to the big ones. And that's the problem, is it doesn't feel like there's big ones. And that also goes to ESPN, too, for constantly being like, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one, and here's another one.
I watched this one content creator, and he, before the year, said 2025 could be the best year we get in MMA, because Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, International Fight Week, that was the thing. It was like, as long as we get at International Fight Week, we'll be good.
Right.
As fans, that's all we want, because we can get all the other ones later on. You
Absolutely.
know, the Topuria fight, he was supposed to fight Islam, but Charles Oliveira, great second comparison.
Yes.
Any Marab fight, O'Malley, that was a fight everyone wanted at the time. A Pereira comeback fight now that he lost the belt.
Right.
When's his fight going to be? It was going to be some great year. And then Jon Jones, just every single fight, every single press conference Dana has to do. Hey, when is Jon versus Tom getting done? Every fight announcement he makes on Instagram, guys, we're going to get the Jon versus Tom fight. It overshadowed the whole year and has made it such a slug, because there was never confirmation we were going to get this fight.
And then that's, and again.
And shout out Tom Aspinall, said since October, I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him.
Yeah. Well,
Shout out to Tom Aspinall.
He even said recently on an interview, he's like, "Oh, I hope he comes back out of retirement. I'm waiting for him.
Because you know what's going to happen.
We'll bump him,
you know
we'll
what's
bump
going to
him up
happen.
through the rest of them."
Jon Jones sitting at home hoping Cyril Gane beats Tom Aspinall whenever they fight.
Of course he
so
is.
that when he can come out of retirement and beat Gane again.
Oh, I know I can take him
happening.
to the ground and I can finish him off there. Okay, all right, bud. Well, quite frankly, I think when Tom Aspinall whoops him down, I mean, I'm assuming that's going to be the big fight that happens, right, Gagne?
It's going to be Gane Aspinall next.
Yeah.
It's one of the only guys in the top 10 that Tom Aspinall hasn't fought. Everyone else is going to be a 2. So
I mean, he's fought Blades twice at this point.
Yeah, and the other one was he got hurt during the Blades fight, so he wanted to get it back.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but the only other one he's going to get is Jailton Almeida, but
yeah,
I think he's a little bit away from it. Other than that, everyone in heavyweight is cosplaying as the Pillsbury Doughboy. So, it's not really a great heavyweight division right now.
It's a good comparison. Hey, man, what's wrong with looking like a Pillsbury Doughboy?
No, I look like one too. I'm not complaining, they're actually fighting. They're supposed to be the best division in the UFC,
that's the
and
thing.
this is what we're getting.
It's hard to enjoy it when you're seeing two larger guys get gassed. And trust me, as somebody who gets gassed very fast, it's not fun when you see two guys go.
Shout out Shamil Gaziev.
Or my favorite is, should we just go to the ground? Jesus, guys, come on. Look, yeah, for Tom Aspinall, congratulations on being the heavyweight champion. It's well deserved, in my opinion. I think again, I wish it would have come in a better way. It's unfortunate that it happens in this kind of fashion, and that it is like Jon Jones. I feel like this should have been something where it's like, guys, Tom Aspinall, he's the heavyweight champion, right? Or if anything, like, we're putting up a fight together, we're putting this together, boom, they're competing for the heavyweight championship, where I believe he would probably be gone and probably win the title. I'm assuming that would be the matchup.
Yeah, it's a
more
big
than
debate,
anything.
but Tom Aspinall is technically the first UK champion representing the UK.
Yes.
Because Leon Edwards was Jamaican, represented
Right.
the UK. Michael Bisping was living in the US.
Yes. Which,
He's
again,
no problem with it.
right.
But Tom Aspinall being the first UK champion, and it all went down like this.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's so strange. Although I will say, I saw somebody I forget your Twitter. I do apologize. Conspiracy theory, I guess, if you will, in that kind of sense, it's the whole, well, Dana gives him the belt, like you said, first UK champion, because he pointed that out, first UK champion ever for UFC, getting the UK market more in there, perhaps. And I was like,
yeah,
if there's ever a mindset for Dana, he would go, if I put the championship belt on Aspinall, we're going to get more viewerships, we're going to get more opportunities in the UK.
100%.
Yeah, we knew that.
He gets asked every press conference, when are you going to Spain when you have Ilia Topuria as a champion, right?
Come on!
Yeah, that has to happen, right?
Come on!
It's getting annoying that they ask it every single one. No, it makes sense.
Spain.
Because, you had Leon Edwards become champion.
Yes.
His first defense is against Bilal Muhammad at Manchester Arena,
right?
And Tom Aspinall is the co-main.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what you do when Volk becomes champion. You need to go to Australia.
Yeah,
they're talking about a South Africa card for DDP,
Brazil
for Pantoja.
Yeah,
I mean, this is what you do when you have a champion. You should maybe try to go to where they're from.
Just a thought.
Just a thought.
Just a thought.
I mean, it's not a crazy thing to think of.
Yeah.
I mean, and the UK market, Tom Aspinall needs to be in the UK market.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's great for the UK.
Absolutely. So, I mean, listen, for what the question was like at the beginning of it, what is Jon Jones' legacy? Like I said, for me personally, I put him as one of the greatest to ever do it in the sport for UFC and MMA, with a complicated history that unfortunately makes things muttered as far as how you will view him. Because I will always view him as an athlete, as a great fighter. But I will, unfortunately, as a whole, it will always be a very cloudy look to see Jon Jones.
Not my GOAT. I'm going GSP or DJ.
For
GOAT.
For the GOAT? Yeah, I don't put Jon Jones. I agree with.
Put him up there.
I don't put him up there as a pound for pound GOAT. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
I should have got Brett up here because he's in Chicago for PFL. I should have got Brett up here. I wish I knew you were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
that's
this.
right, yeah. I apologize. Brett, if you're watching by any chance, man, I mean, chime in, dude. I want to hear your thoughts because I know you're heavy into it. I will say, I mean, like, give Habib a little bit of credit here on it, too, man. Like, man, that talk about absolute dominance. Like, I mean, that dude, I may put him there. I don't know.
If he stayed in it for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
I mean, also if maybe his first 10 fights were against people who were like 6-40.
That's
an over exaggeration, but like that's what his record was up until he's like 20-0.
Right. That's the thing is like he did fight some kind of weaker dudes, but then again, I think there was a lot of people who were like, okay, he's good, but like, how good is he really? Nobody really understood. That's like, oh, he can just put you in the chokehold and just take you out in 5 seconds. Like, nobody understood like how good he really was. I still remember watching him against Conor McGregor, and everyone's like, McGregor, man, he's gonna. I'm like, he puts him to the ground, he's going down, and he can't defend when guys are shooting on him. And what happens? Habib, man, he just got on him and just never let him up. Got mad respect, but look for Jon Jones again, as an athlete, incredible career, but a legacy as far as that goes. It's just very cloudy, murky, misty waters, however you want to say it. Unfortunately for him, he will be remembered for a lot of things, and some of them, unfortunately, will not be having an MMA career.
A lot of them.
A lot of them. He might be doing a little bit of jail time. I'm not saying a lot because, let's be honest, Dana White looks out for his boys. So that's going to do it for the questions here, ladies and gentlemen, and the Jon Jones talk. Let us know, what do you think is Jon Jones' legacy? How much we went a lot on the UFC here. Comment everything you can, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are down below. Tom Aspinall being the champion, how do you see the heavyweight division planning out now? Does Jon Jones come back and accept the offer to fight Aspinall? We want to hear from all you guys on all that stuff and more at xpsportsofficial@gmail.com. We appreciate it, guys. And that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys all so much for listening and watching. As always, we appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked the show, if you caught it, please make sure to like, subscribe, share it all over the place. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch. That's youtube.com/xbombsports and twitch.tv/xbombsports. We're on every Monday, 9:30 a.m. Central Time, and every Friday, 1 p.m. Central Time. Sorry, I couldn't get the words out. Social media-wise, if you guys want to follow any more of us with our updates, clips, things like that, you can find us at XBomb Sports on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well. I need to add that on there too. And also any more comments or questions like you guys just gave us here for Fridays and possibly for Mondays as well too. It's xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. And if you want to follow me, I know, Scotty, you might have already pushed it. It's at The Fluffy Guru on Twitter and at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram too. Real quick, guys, as well, want to support our boys out there. Make sure to go catch our guys at Bad Karma Wrestling. That is every Friday right here, ladies and gents. They're doing their thing. They just did a quick one here. They started at 11:30. Well, it's 11:30 technically for Bad Karma Wrestling at the Bad Karma Wrestling YouTube page. If you want to catch everything WWE and AEW, they had a great conversation today. A very fast one, but a very great conversation. So go check that out as well. That just had today. Also, too, check out Blow the Whistle as well. We're going every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Not today, unfortunately, because the boys are busy. We are all busy, but you can catch us every 2 p.m. Central Time on SportsCentralChicago.com's YouTube page where we go live, where you guys can listen to us on the radio side as well as the TV side, too. And check that out as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. Thank you all again so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week for another fun one. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.